built it using a single sweep.
Okay.
Real, but I can't get the end. I don't know how to get the end to be the way I want it, like kind of rounded. Also, I'm having some problems making it smooth in certain parts,
Okay.
but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, it's a good. This is the maquette.
Yeah.
So, where's your finger rest at, May?
The ring board.
Yeah.
The orange one, but it's already open. It's just underneath. Sorry. This line.
It's locked. That's why I can't click on. Okay, now you know your setting isn't on your finger rest.
Oh,
You, yeah, you're gonna want to fix that. Okay. So it was here. No.
Surface.
You've messed up your right view. To fix it, just type in plan. To fix it, just type in plan. Okay, you're creeping into your ring bore here, which you can't do. Okay? So you've got to take care of that. So is this flowed up?
I'm not sure.
How did you get this up into position?
On this side? For this one, I just built it like piece by piece.
So you built it in place. So you didn't flow it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. First thing we want to look at is what you're going to do with your ends. Where's your image? Is your image in here?
No. I only have like the top view flat drawing.
And where is that at?
The white sphere drawing.
Okay. So you just want these blunt. Okay. Is this about how far you want it to go?
Yes. I didn't want it. I want it to be like kind of right on top of each other, but when you look from the side, just like the levels.
Okay. All right. The way you're going to blunt this is the same way that I like to blunt the end of a prong. First thing you need to do is you can't have a corner here. Corners, well, I guess you can.
Because I was thinking about going in after and doing like fillet edge.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you need to decide. What you are going to do, Kwang Tsai. Because this is actually very sophisticated what you have going on. And because we don't have a flow kit, since we're doing this in 3D world, it makes it a little more challenging still. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cap planar holes. Okay, and then I'm going to fillet this bottom edge. I just want to see how big one looks. One's big. So it's 0.7 look like. No. 0.7 looks good. .7 looks good. Okay. So what I want to be able to do, Kwang Tsai, is I want to be able to take the top of this and bury it down inside. Is this a rotation? So it's the same on both sides?
Yeah, I just mirrored it and had to like rotate it.
Okay, alright. To do what I want to do, Kwang Tsai, I need to set up a C-plane that'll allow me control using a cage editing box. I'm running out of layers, Guangzai. Oh, that's weird. That is an evil poly surface. I don't like that at all. Okay. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that back end off.
Using the using the outline.
Using a cutting plane. So to make the cutting plane work, I'm going to rotate this until in my viewport it looks like I'm looking at it straight from the side. Okay? Then I'm going to go to C-plane. Set C-plane to view. That actually puts a C-plane flat with my camera, which means now when I do a cutting plane, let's say like so. It should be perpendicular. Need to move it back a little bit to make sure I cut everything off at the end there, and then trim. And I'll go ahead and trim this with that, and then join those together. That's just cleaner, right? Going back to the top C-plane. I told you I need to get a C-plane set up so that I can I'm going to try setting a C-plane to this camera view. See what that C-plane looks like. It's okay. It's still not what I want. I'm going to use a cage editing box, and the points on the cage editing box need to go in the direction I need them. So if I come here and I go transform cage edit, bounding box, set it to C-plane 444, just say it like this. Those points aren't going to do what I want them to do, because I want to be able to take this and move it this way. I want to be able, and this is the key when you're modeling, is to know what it is you want to do. I want to move this into this piece, that direction. Okay? None of these points will let me do that. So I need to set a C-plane that will let me do that. I'm wondering if I can't use the back of this right here. C-plane to object. Cage edit. Ooh, maybe. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Now I don't have enough points on this cage editing box. If I use this cage editing box, when I move these points, it's going to move a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't want to move as much. So I'm going to cancel out of it and make a new cage editing box. Now, do you remember what the colored lines mean?
Just like the boundary.
Which axis? There are 3 axes in 3-dimensional space, X and Z. Each one is assigned a color. What one's red?
Y.
Wrong, but good try. X. Green is Y. Z is blue, but you can't see blue because it's coming right at you. Okay? We want to add points going in this direction. Which direction is that?
Y.
No, if the green is Y.
Oh, gotcha. X.
X is red.
Z.
Yeah, the one we can't see. The one there is no line for.
Okay.
Okay? That's important because when you set up this cage editing box, it gives you a choice. Now 4 is fine for all the other points, but in Z, I'm going to want to have like 8. And see that? I have more points. Okay? And that is good. That's what I want. I want more points. Now my challenge is going to be how to select just the rows that I want. Because what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to rotate and get just the points that you want to get. So I only want to move these rows right here. So I'm going to rotate my view until I only get those two rows. I'm going to double check that I only got those 2 rows. And then I'm going to move M-enter with Shift key. And you'll see that it moved downward. Now what's interesting to me is I don't know why it moved that green piece. There's only one explanation as to why it moved that green piece. Do you know what that is? You built it.
Is it connected to each other?
I grabbed that blue curve.
Oh,
that blue curve is part of history on that green piece. So to make sure that doesn't happen again, I'm going to turn that off. And just cage edit. Good news is that Rhino remembers your settings. So bounding box, C-plane, all the same point count. Rotate it again. Get my 2 rows of points. Come back here again. M-enter. Hold Shift key. And now, only that piece should move. And that's pretty much what I want. That is pretty cool. That's all right. I'm going to take a look at my front view with my ring bore. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm all right. Great. Throw away the cage editing box.
Kim, you wanted to, when you said bury and move it, is because like the original one, it was like different levels.
Well, but I want to be able to, I'm going to have to put a hole in this piece with this piece. If I don't have a good clean intersection, I always talk about in Rhino how you want a good solid intersection. If it was part of this was just barely touching the surface, anything I tried to do it was going to fight me. So by burying it well, this little piece I don't care about, it's going to fall off. By burying it well, I can do a nicer job. Okay? Now, we can't play with this very much more until we fix this. And the problem here is the ring bore messing with your and the easiest way to fix that is to do a curve from 2 views. I'm going to take a rail from the edge of this. I'm going to hide your setting for a minute. So I duplicated that edge. I'm going to project that to C-plane. Y-enter meant throw away the original and just put it on the ground. Remember, to do curve from 2 views, you've got to have a flat horizontal curve and a flat vertical curve. The flat vertical curve is that one. I just made a flat horizontal curve from this. Curve from 2 views. Now it's going to make one above and one below because that circle goes all the way around. That's okay. Now you're guaranteed, Kwong Tsai, that this cross section, this rail, is not going to, I can't even find it. Where'd it go? It's right here. It will not interfere with your ring bore because I made a curve from 2 views using the ring bore. So that curve is guaranteed to be right on the ring bore.
And that would be like the maximum, lowest
yes,
it could go.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so I'm going to draw a straight line from here to here. I'm going to duplicate this edge. Join those together because it's a poly surface. And I'm going to borrow this rail down the middle of it. That'll come in handy. I'm just going to resurface this, and to resurface it, I'm going to get as many pieces as I can ready. Okay, solid extract surface. Actually, I can just throw that away. Goodbye. Oops. Needed that curve. Goodbye. Turn that off. Turn that off. I have my rails. Oh, except for Huangtai.
You just duplicated the border, right?
Yeah, except for you have a weird thing happening here. You have a surface that rolls under.
Oh.
Why do you have that, Huangtai? That makes no sense to me. Okay. Curve. Extend curve from arc to point. I'm going to take the edge of this and catch the edge of that. And see if I like that okay. Oops. Except for obviously that curve is green. Let's make it red. I think that's okay. Let's see. Do I really think it's okay? Guangzai. Wow, the world is upside down. I'm getting seasick. It's not great, Guangzai. It's not great. Alright, so I don't like how that curve turned out. So I'm going to grab this curve, extend.
That's the curve that was underneath.
Yeah, because you have a weird thing going on. And you know you have a weird thing going on because you made it. Okay? And this piece of surfacing, instead of having one surface that comes straight from here all the way around, you have a surface that starts straight here and then becomes part of the flat there. Which you don't need. There's no need for that, except for to make your life difficult. And Guangzai, your life is difficult enough already. So, I'm going to explode this. Now I'm going to take a curve. This is tangent off the front of what you made. This is tangent off of the old surface back here. So I'm going to do a blend curve. And it should give me something nice in between. I'm kind of liking that, Guangzai. I'm kind of thinking that's okay. That's good. That's groovy. I can throw that away.
Can I ask what reference you use that first when it sticks out the bottom line, and then how did you make the adjustable blend curve? Like which two curves did you use?
Okay, let me go back. I realized that the curve I drew wasn't a nice curve. Because even though it was smooth back here, it's coming off of this curve right here. Even though it's working there, it gets really skinny in here, which I don't like. I like what's going on here. Only problem is it's coming into the side of another surface that we don't even want. Okay? But I like its direction. So I'm going to steal the direction. To steal the direction, I'm going to go curve, extend by line. That'll extend any curve in a straight line. Like that. Enter when done. I don't want the whole thing. I just want this piece. So I'll explode it. So now I have them separate. This one and this one. This curve I drew is kind of useless. I'm going to explode it. Because this is the actual curve off the edge of this surface right here.
Yep.
So I want to keep that because I want it to be smooth to this surface. So I'm happy with that. So I'm going to do a blend curve between here, which gives me the old surface, and this curve, which gives me the direction. Adjustable blend curve. I think it's a little too fat through here, so I'm going to control the points a little bit. A little fatter from this end. And I think that's about right. Throw that away. Throw that away. Throw that away. I don't need it anymore. Don't need this curve that I used to make curve from two views. And now I have everything I need to get started. I don't know if I have everything I need because I'm not sure how you built the thing you built. But I'm ready to get rid of that. Okay? Now, my challenge is I believe that you have a surface. I got to count the surfaces that Guangzai has. Solid extract surface. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? That's a bunch. Would have been nicer if there were less, but I can work with this. But I need to continue this same surfaces all the way up to here. Now this curve, if I'm lucky, will explode into 6 pieces. It did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, this is going really well. So I'm going to take this curve now. Curve, extend curve by arc to point. And grab the end. Now, I knew I wasn't going to like it. I just knew I wasn't going to like it. So since I don't like it very much at all, I got to think of what to do. I'm going to join these into one curve. Make a planar surface from it. Oh, unfortunately it's not planar. Make a patch from it. Wow. That is just not being nice to me at all, Guangzai. It is fighting me. I really want these to be planar. I want this to be a flat, smooth thing.
Can we make like a surface and just cut it out? Or?
Yeah, you can. It's going to be hard. And this doesn't reach, by the way. We don't have a match here, which is going to cause problems later. How do I make it flat? Okay, I'm going to rotate the view until I'm looking straight at the side of that cross section. As straight as I can. Set C-plane to view. Grab all y'all. Surface cutting plane. Cutting planes are always flat. That's one of the neat things about a cutting plane. I think your thing is kind of at a weird angle. I don't want to insult you, but I think it is. So I'm going to make it more like that. And I'm going to move this back. I'll just use Shift key until I get a clean end of the whole thing. I'm now going to set a C-plane to this. Cool. I'm going to grab this curve and project it to that C-plane. Cool. Throw that away. Okay. So now I've moved things a little bit. Explode this, but at least I know it's flat now. I want this to come down to here. I'm just going to turn on the control point and move it. Oops, except for that makes it no longer flat. Question is, what's going on with these curves? I want to make sure this curve is touching this. Curve. Extend curve. I've already selected this, so this is a barrier. Curve to extend. U. 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 Okay? Not much really happened. Some crazy things happened. That's alright. Now I'm going to use it to trim off anything that came out the other side. Just so I can make sure that these all ended exactly where they were supposed to end. Now that I know that it ended exactly where it's supposed to end, here's the thing, Kwong-Sai. I think that's a straight line, isn't it? Is that parallel?
The two sides?
Yeah.
I think so.
And you're probably going to want to keep them parallel, huh? So I'm going to have to move that over. Ah, shoot. I need a C-plane that I can do non-uniform scale with. Mainly I need a grid. So I'm going to grab this bottom line, use our favorite drawing for making a C-plane, an ellipse, set an ellipse to that, C-plane to that. Now my grid's doing what I want it to. Grab all these bad boys, transform non-uniform scale, end to end. Oops, wrong direction. Nothing in that direction, please. And nothing there. So now I know this is the same width. Close that up. And now I have a nice little cross section. If I join them into a closed curve, they should still be flat. I'm going to check that. Look at the pretty planar surface. They're good. Alright. It's a lot of work. Now I know that these... How can I check and make sure they meet?
You told me once, but I can't. It's like some curve.
Intersect. If I hold these two together, actually explode this. Take this out, join those back together. If I hold these two and I do an intersect command, if I get a point there, I'm intersecting. If I don't get a point there, they're not intersecting. I need them to intersect. And if I zoom in enough, Kwong-Sai, I can see that it doesn't intersect. But it's really close. I'm just going to grab this point, move it back a little. Now I'll double check it again. Intersect. Bingo. They touch. That one's good. How about this side? Nothing. Nada. Okay, if I want to keep zooming in, but I'm getting tired, how do I get to right here with a good zoom? Set view. Zoom window. Neat, huh? Okay. Actually, interestingly, it looks like these two do intersect. They do. It's this one that doesn't intersect. It's a little bit off. Okay. It's going to make it a little bit possibly crooked, but not much. We're talking about tiny little pieces. And it's important that those tiny little pieces... Oh, no, that is the one we wanted to move. Okay, good. This stayed put. All right, so now this and this should have intersect point. It does. This and this should have an it does. The only one left is this guy. And I just know he's not going to line up. Okay? I'm not going to try. What I am going to do is make a planar surface again. And I'm going to get a curve to come straight off of this, perpendicular to that surface. Okay? Curve. Line. We have a lot of choices under line. We have both sides, which we use a lot. Normal we never use. Angled we never use. Vertical we never use. 4-point we never use. Bisector we never use. Perpendicular we use sometimes. Tangent we use. Extension we use. This guy, normal, does not mean not weird. It means coming straight off of a surface.
Coming straight off a surface.
Yeah, perpendicular to a surface. Normal. It's called normal to a surface. So if I hit normal, it's going to ask me for the start of the line. I'm going to pick the endpoint on these cross sections. I thought there was an endpoint here. Mid. Mid works for me. That curve is normal to that surface, which is cool, because now I'm going to come back here somewhere along this. I'm going to say maybe there. I'm going to split it with a point. Boom. I'm going to do a blend curve between those two. Wow, I did not see that coming. That is crazy. Crazy, 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 crazy. Huh. Okay. Gonna rethink. Do I want something that crazy? How about if I blend from here to there? Why, that is less crazy. In fact, now your curve looks crazy and my curve looks normal. Back this up a little bit. Push this out a little bit. I'm happy. Bye-bye Kwangsai curve. Keeping Kim curve. Okay? So I'm coming around and trying to make each one of these things work. And all this happened because I tried to make this happen. And it didn't want to work for me. But now that I can do curve normal to surface, because I have a planar surface, line, normal, end. End. Oh, come on. Gotta hit normal first. Now I can do blend curves.
And I can just, if I do adjustable blend curve, I can pick like a line from the surface, right?
Yep. Gonna move my camera around, make sure I like what's going on there. It's a bit of a bulge there I don't love. I don't like using object snaps when I'm doing this. I'm holding down the Alt key, so I don't have an object snap active. Still a bit of a bulge there that I am not loving. But you know what? It's okay. There's that curve. Get the one on this side. Blend. Boom. Ooh, that one looks nice right out of the box. Don't have to do anything to that one. Kwangsai, I have enough curves to make the piece now. First thing I'm going to make is the surface along the bottom. Surface from curve network, rail, rail, edge, and edge. I don't want this one to listen to the edge though, so when I turn it on, I'm going to make sure that C is position only. I do want tangent C on A, so it comes off of this smoothly.
And you did the surface plane?
Surface from curve network. Okay. Now I'm going to do the sidewalls. Rail. I'm going to pick a curve because I don't want it to listen to this surface. But I do want it to listen to this surface. Oop, I've got nothing there for it to listen to, so I got to stop and explode that. Do it again. Surface from curve network. Curve. Curve. Surface edge. Curve. Other side. Curve. Curve. Really not loving this bulge. We'll see how it goes. Edge. Curve. Guess it's alright. Join these together. Now I'm going to do the top. Surface from network curves. Rail. Now I want the surface edge because I want it to stay smooth from the side. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Guangzai. You have two surfaces here. Ah! Drat. I've got to make another rail. And we're out of time for you, unfortunately. Normal. End. Normal. Oops, I forgot to hit normal. Just a line doesn't mean anything. And I'm going to have to make blend curves to make the rails in between. And this could get weird now. There's no promising this is going to work. That's one piece of information too many, possibly. But I'll take it. We'll see what happens. Sometimes I get lucky.
Is there a way to control how many surface planes there are? Because you said mine had 6, but I don't know how.
Because when you drew it, you made it with fillets. Surface, surface, fillet, fillet, surface. So it's how you built it. You ended up with a poly surface, and that's going to give you 6 pieces. So you can get a poly curve with 6 curves. That's why when you hear me say a lot in class, I use the word hygiene a lot. Keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it elegant. Because when you get a lot of surfacing going on, it's not that you can't work with it. I'm working with it just fine. But it's a lot more work. If this was one surface across the top here, no problem.
But when for me, the only way I knew how to do it was to put, like, when we made the prongs, like the ends, and that's what I was trying to do. But it just, I wouldn't even know how to create one surface just from that. Or like.
Okay, how to make one surface for Guangzai's piece. Interesting challenge. Okay. Solid extract surface. Not you. 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 Join. Duplicate edge. Join. Duplicate edge. Join. Okay. Now I got 2 curves. I would like the one down the middle of the back because it's going to give me a way of controlling it. So, duplicate edge. That piece. I'm liking it. Goodbye to the rest. Okay. I want this to come smooth off of this down here. And the way I'm going to do that, that should be even with the front. It is. So the way I'm going to do it, Guangzai, is I'm going to go into my right C-plane, and I'm going to extrude that straight out. Like that. Okay? I'm going to try and explode this surface. It's only one surface. That's good. That's what I wanted. Down at this end, I have a poly curve. But I'm going to use a surface that can't give me a poly surface. What's a surfacing tool that cannot give you a poly surface? Surface from Curve Network. It's one of the strongest parts about that tool is it cannot give you a poly surface. The bad news is it kind of gives you soft, gooey looking surfaces. But they're always single surfaces. So, surface from Curve Network. Edge rail. curve rail, edge rail, surface edge. That will guarantee it stays smooth across the bottom. Rail, or curve section. And that's one surface. Okay? Which makes everybody's life much easier. Because now I don't need these at all. All I need is the one on the top. I need a curve along this outer edge. I've already got it. And because I'm going to use surface and curve network, even though it's a poly curve, I will not get a poly surface. All the other surfacing tools, one rail sweep, two rail sweep, extrusions, if you put in a poly curve, you get out a poly surface. The only surfacing tool that won't do it is surface and curve network. You put in a poly curve, you get a single surface. Like I said, the problem with that is what if you have a corner? You're extruding a star. Boom, 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 boom. Well, you extrude a star, that's great because you will get nice sharp points because it'll break it into a surface for each plane of the... But if you take that same star and you put two of them like this and use a surface and curve network with a couple of cross-section lines, it'll come to each point and then swell around to make a bubble. It cannot make a poly surface. It'll loop and make a rounded star just to make sure you get one surface. So there are times when surface and curve network isn't what you want because sometimes you want that crisp poly surface. But in this situation, we want smooth. So the last thing we want is a poly surface. So surface and curve network is our friend. Surface and curve network. I want to make sure I pick the edge of the surface. Rail. Edge of the surface, because that way the surface can listen to these surfaces and keep it smooth. I want to grab the edge of this surface so we can listen to that. I do not want the edge of this surface. It doesn't really matter, but I don't want it. I want a curve so that it doesn't listen to anything at the end. And go. And where this is going to come in really handy, what color was our surface that we made on? Well, what color was it on? Now we're on. There it is. When we punch into this now, we're no longer punching into 6 surfaces. We're punching into 2. The side and the top. Which is going to make our lives oh so much easier. Because punching into 6 surfaces is a bit of a nightmare. Okay? But this won't be bad. The worst part about this is going to be we're not going to have a whole lot of room. But we'll address that in a minute. Let's get back to how to put the cap on the end. So you get one of your questions answered. Okay? There's your new piece. This new piece does not get in the way of your ring bore at all. Not like this one that dips in. This one stays out. This one's good. To get rid of the end here, I am going to solid extract that surface back off. Okay? I'm going to set a C-plane to it. I'm going to duplicate my border. Explode that, take off the bottom. Join the rest. And I'm going to offset it. Oh, actually, before I did that, I was going to fill at the bottom of it. But no, let's not. Well, shoot, we have to decide if we're going to fill at the bottom. If we're going to fill at the bottom, we have to fill it all the way around.
I can just fill it. Oh, like, we have to fill it before we make the cap.
Yeah. Which is okay. Let's do that. Top C-plane. Throw this away. Well, not throw that away. Hide it. Goodbye. Throw that away. Join these all together. Grab this guy. Transform, rotate, copy equals yes, 0, 180. Right?
You did transform, rotate, 180. Ugh.
With a copy option.
That makes so much more sense because I kept
yeah. I know. I did it for years that way before I figured out the right way to do it. Okay. So I didn't get my cap over there. Rotate. Select objects to rotate. Now, if we've got this right, we should get a solid. We have solid. Cool. So, see how this is filleted on the bottom? We're going to do the same thing here.
We have to fillet like the ring bore as well. Okay.
Do you mind?
No.
Yeah, I think it'll be nice. So, it's alright. Fillet edge. And that same 0.7 should actually be pretty good. Let's find out.
Oh, so now that it's one surface, when we collect the edge, it's like, because I kept having to like,
yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, that's nice. That works. Yeah, only 4. Okay. So what we need to do now is extract this surface. Set a C-plane to it. Duplicate its edge. And offset. And I want to offset it fairly small. Problem is we are in a color we can't see, so there we go. Now the problem I'm going to get when I go fairly small is I'm going to get a corner at the bottom. I'm going to have to get rid of that. Okay. But I don't mind that. It's easy to do. And adjustable blend curve again. Not that. There. No more corners. Okay. Now, I need to cut this off. And to cut that off, once again, I need to get a nice side view of it. Something like that. Set view, C-plane to view, cutting plane. Something that makes sense with the angle of that surface. Don't want to be too far back, but we can move it, so it doesn't matter. Something like that. Make sure that makes sense. Looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to trim off this. I'm going to trim off that. Scary, huh? Okay. And now I'm going to do a blend surface. I'm going to select this entire ring. And then I'm going to grab that. Now, where the edge, where the seam on this goes is important. You want it someplace fairly flat and someplace fairly hidden. I'm going to try mid-snap. That'll be good there. I'm not sure it'll be good here. No. So here I'm going to do it by eye. I'm just going to come up and line up with that ISO curve. That'll put the seam at the bottom. Now when I hit enter, I'm going to get something like that. Till I hit preview. Then I'm going to get something like that. I want to check and see what same height looks like. It usually gives you a little more rigid. Uncheck it. Either one is fine. You just want to make a decision as to which one you like better. I think I like it without same height. Now, you have sliders here, okay? By pushing and pulling on these sliders, you can change which side has more power. This end or that end. And when you're done, you hit OK. Close poly surface.
Okay.
The fewer surfaces you work with, the more power you have at the end to get fancy.
Okay.
Once you've gotten fancy, you're kind of screwed. There's not a lot more you can do. So if we'd started this out really sophisticated, doing what we just did would be very hard to do. But because we only had not even six, we had 5 surfaces, and they were pretty basic, simple surfaces, that blend turned out well. That's the same process you're going to use when you work with your these.
And I should probably rebuild the top one too as well, because that has like...
Yeah, it has a lot of crazy surfacing. Also, you can see that now that we filleted the bottom of it, we have a little bit of a problem with fit, because this is now too chunky. Okay? So you're going to have to take that off of here. Now, you can actually pull the cross-section right off of this and actually have it start from a cross-section that came off of this. And that way you're going to have a lot more smoothness to work with. And the way you would do that is you would figure out where that is. Actually, I would take it off of here. Start it off of this same cross-section. Use curves that come off of this and extend them and whatnot to create this. Then whatever you make from here will be smooth
going
into that.
Okay.
And then
use the center line and then the cross section.
Yeah. Yeah, and then when you come in, then it'll just resolve smooth and clean.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
All right. And that's my next office hour. That is Adila.
Kim, Carmina also wanted to know if you had any office hours for Friday.
I do not. Let her in for me.
Also, are you going to upload this video on this website?
Yes. Come on in. Sorry, Adila.
On Blackboard?
Yeah. And 216, 237, and May. Office hour, 11:15. Okay. Safe, and I gotta stop the video.